that thing right there. I didn't draw that middle thing, but that's the thing about New Orleans, so I think it's pretty cool. I'm gonna come up with a topic and see if people like to hear about it, because there's probably maybe one or two people that actually come here during my live stream. So yeah, let's see. All right. A quick save and yeah, pretty much. Check out some stuff here, and it'll be tight. I'm gonna run into things. Silver Shroud, radio signal found. Let's see there. There have been a lot of times in my life that that kind of ended in retrospect. I like to see if I really like it. And it would stop a lot of people from losing their lives in some cases, because you can say you're a professional and all that other different stuff, but I mean, oh man, it's just, there's so many times when people just lose their place, I guess, in life. Whenever they're trying to get used to some sort of condition or something like that. And I'm gonna see if I can get on top of this building. Oh, I know what to do. Yeah. All right, here we go. There have been a lot of times where I just reevaluate things, like jobs I have, things like that. I mean, granted, it makes me sometimes lose the job, but it also, I mean, I end a place of pay, I guess, but also it, I think there's a lot of times when, not only do you lose the ability to reason sometimes with, let's see, right, I want to do that, go here, here, there, there. You know what, I'm going to see if I can jump on top of this crosswalk thing. There we go. Alright, cool. Got it. There have been a lot of times that, oh, she just went in a door probably and found a fancy hairbrush. Awesome. Got it. There have been a lot of times where I reevaluated what I actually liked and how I liked it. There have been people out there that are nice to me, and people out there that are nice to me because eventually they just want to be there with me, I guess, or be there around me doing something. Requires terminal. There is a way to. Oh shit! Yeah, there's a place under here. I'm gonna go check this place out. Let's see, where's the terminal at? The terminal's got to be up here somewhere. No, that's not. Oh well. Maybe it's up here, I think. I know there's ghouls, but um, it allows me to reevaluate my skill set and realize that eventually people will understand that I'm kind of professional when I do stuff. Um, when I'm selected for a job at all or anything like that, I try to be the best at what I'm doing. And when I'm met with like with locker room talk or score football kind of stuff, like this, because basically it's what I've run into as far as me trying to be professional, and then people just like not really wailing on a certain skill set that I have, but trying to mess with me or see if I'm about my my professionalism even under scrutiny, or I guess the real question, besides what I actually want to do with myself, is do I actually want to get treated well while I'm doing it? Like, do I, when I do things that are well or good at all, do I want people to, do I want people to, do I want people to like to say that, oh, you're a good guy and that's really good and I'm really happy for you, and I get like positive reinforcement? Or do I want someone to josh me or to say that you're not that good and all that other different stuff? There have been times when I've been akin to both. Like, I don't really care about either one, basically. Or whether I like not wanting to think about the bigger picture or something like that, or and realize that in retrospect that they don't they both really don't matter in the same sense. But when it comes down to it, I mean, harassment and a lot of things, I think it kind of gets to me, you know. It doesn't really. It kind of gets to me. Like, it kind of pushes me away whenever I'm actually doing a job, and they can say that like, oh man, it's just harmful playiness and stuff like that, and then it's like, all right, you do that for your brother and your siblings and your friends, but when you're at a job, it shouldn't be seamless, you know. Like, you're not proving anything to me, you know. I'm not trying to do anything for you. Like, I'm not like up in your stuff trying to say, oh man, you're stupid, that's hilarious, and then or something like that, or just give you sort of a hard time, basically. It can mean that sometimes they respect your oh, there it is. Awesome. And I died. We kept talking. Alright, but understanding that, like, that when you have a job and you want to do it well, eventually you want to be respected for that, you know? You don't want to be, like, pushed aside and said, oh, you're just playing around, trying to act like you know things, and trying to act like you know what you're doing, but you're not knowing what you're doing because, oh, I'm better than you. Kind of like, that's kind of the way it feels sometimes whenever you get made fun of when you're actually doing a good job, and someone comes up to you and they're just like, haha, you're a professional or something. It's basically what they're saying. They just want a reason to laugh, and I guess laughing at someone else's expense is kind of stupid, and it just doesn't really speak to me on any level, you know. Like, I never really found it to be like, oh, that's the thing that I want to do when I'm at the top. I want to make fun of everybody else that's at the bottom, or in the middle, or around doing their job. Just be saying things that are supportive, and that's maybe the way they grew up, maybe the way they did things when they were younger. They just decided to give people a hassle and a hard time and stuff like that, or like, say, like, there's a post-apocalyptic thing, And like, you know, the guys that are like saving people's lives and stuff, and they're doing a lot of things and all that other different stuff. They're just oh man, Josh is with you, bro, or something. Like, I don't really know how to say it, but it's like, just go, oh man, how's that saving going? Saving people's lives every day. Good job. No, you suck. Ah. It's like, I don't think I deserve that, you know? Like, I'm just gonna say it out loud. I mean, there have been times when I looked at people and I was just like, you're really serious. You're giving me shit because I just did something that was amazing, and or I pulled something off that you thought was impossible, or you thought couldn't be done in a single night, and somehow I get flack for that and get pushed out because, oh, I'm a bad person, and I am you don't want me to win or something like that. I kind of meet that with like oh, you don't want anyone to undermine you. So you're saying that me doing a good job is making you look bad. But that's the point, is when you do a good job, other people could do good jobs. Yeah. I had to crack my neck.
Done.
They're like, wow, dude, you do a really good job. I should be motivated and be able to do a bunch of stuff that I want to do. That sounds really great, and I'm just gonna keep on pushing forward, you know, like because this dude did this, and I'll be able to do something really cool if like that happens, you know, like it's great, you know, but no, you gotta think about those things. You gotta think about those things and say, wait a second, is he trying to show me up? Is he trying to tell me who I think I am by telling me that things are better with him? I think people who give too much negative reinforcement, and I'm saying that that's cool. Like, it really doesn't bother me to be able to say, but when you're in my face and you're calling me something, and you think that I don't flinch, I may not flinch like on the outside, you know, like I may not flinch to it on the outside, but I flinch on the inside, you know. I flinch on the inside, and that really affects my work, because it just makes me think that, oh, I'm doing such a good job that literally my boss is trying to beat my ass. So I might as well not do a good job and just tell him and let him go somewhere else, and I'll probably go somewhere else eventually because he's an idiot. And now they could say a whole bunch of different shit that, oh, he was doing stuff with money, and oh, he wasn't even near a cash register. How could he do that? Oh, because he was talking to the bartender, and then she told him something, and then he didn't say anything to his upper management. That means he's not manager material. It's like, no, because sometimes when people are doing things that are fucked up and stupid because they're dumb, they have to see the times that management has for them, and not like a person who's like, oh my god, what are you doing? You're doing something that's bad. Oh gosh, that means that I have to say something about it. It's like, no, don't say anything about it for a little while, because if they stop and then they realize their folly, then maybe they can pull themselves up out of the crater and eventually pay back what they fucking owe, because that's why you don't get paid as much as you're worth, because if you do something stupid or fucked up, it's paid for. That's why, because that's the way that it works. That's how it works. That's how the whole system works. The whole system of management and people who are underneath that management and all that other different stuff. I'm just gonna take all this stuff and I'm gonna go trade it for bullets and shit. So, That's like, you don't say things to upper management, because then what you do is you get them in a tizzy, and all they're doing is worrying about something else. They're worrying about, they have 100 things on their plate. They have 2,000 probably memos that are telling them they need a better workforce, a better thing, a better stuff. And if they find out that two people are fucking up and doing stupid shit, they could probably make some stupid fucking mistake, and everyone would suffer for it. So what you do is you don't keep it just to yourself, okay? You tell a friend, all right? You tell a friend. And then that friend can say something about it whenever they look at it. Because if they go into the bar and then get, or the place that there is anything like that, and they see the person actually doing it, because I can hear about it all fucking day, it doesn't mean it's goddamn true, and that's why I don't say anything to management. You can say, hey, there's a friend that knows something. If they know something, there's a witness. There you go. There's a better situation. Then they don't have to worry about not firing that person. They don't have to worry about that person taking out unemployment or all kinds of bullshit or some sort of fucked upness. All you have to do is worry about everything that you're possibly thinking about, and then worry about that, because they will just fuck up on their own. They usually get caught. Usually. And that's where I think a lot of people lose their shit sometimes whenever they're actually running a business, is they want every single aspect of it to be perfect. I know it can't be. Like, there's no way that you can possibly make every single little aspect of everything that you make perfect on every end of every single person. There are gonna be some days when a person has a bad day, and then they say something stupid, or they just do something that's a little bit subpar. You know, it's not a big deal. But what I think people need to understand about actually managing and actually knowing what to do in certain cases of different kinds of actions, and like even in security or anything like that, is you don't panic anyone. Don't panic. Don't panic. Like, it's not something you need to panic over. You know? Oh my God, the club is going to lose $1,000, but they made $20,000 in the last 2 days. So they lost $1,000 against that $20,000. I think they're still doing fine. If they lose that, then they'll understand it and they can fix it later. And that's the way it's designed. You know? Like, that shit. But there's these people that believe that somehow every single little aspect of this cog thing, or they think about it's a well-oiled machine, when it's not. It's not a well-oiled machine. It's not even a machine. It's not even well-oiled. It's not even well anything. It's not even a machine whatsoever. It's a social construct that people have allowed to exist for very, very long periods of time, and when they don't allow those things to exist anymore, usually they fizzle out. And that's what happens. And people make their money, and people owe money sometimes. So that happens, okay? The big people who are owning everything, they're like, I know people are going to steal from here. I know it. It's a fact. That's what I planned for. That's what I did. Like, I planned for that. So when I say don't say something about two stupid fucking people, i.e. whatever person's doing it, and i.e. another person's doing something fucking retarded, I don't say anything because I don't want to panic anyone. But what I do want to do is inform a person. So I leave immediately and do something different. That dude ran into a mine. Awesome. He forgot where he put it. Whenever you're running a business, so you think that something is gonna end really quickly or something like that, like, what you need to do sometimes is you need to realize the end result of it. You need to predict what the end result is going to be, how much you're going to lose, how you're going to be able to handle the situation, because you don't get paid to stop problems that are happening immediately sometimes, especially management. You don't get paid to stop a dude from stealing a table. Okay, you can buy another table. It's fine.
You don't get paid because, oh my God, a dude decided that he was gonna fix or get a freaking pool table. You don't get paid to lift up pool tables for people when they have a lost ball or something. You get paid to understand when a problem is happening and then realize its solution, implement it very easily, and then realize that the customer pointed out that the ball was still inside the table and their friggin' coins didn't register. That's what you do. Okay, that's what you get. Like, that's all the things that need to happen in those situations is, oh my God, I could have done this problem a lot easier had I not jumped into conclusion by thinking that someone themselves was the culprit of something. By thinking that someone did something immediately, you are immediately biased. You're immediately biased. You're always biased. Always. Like, even when you're figuring out a problem and you think that problem might have the solution in said 15 to 20 minutes. Say that problem is there's a table and it needs to be completely and utterly covered by a tablecloth. Okay? You don't crazily rush around the entire place and realize that you don't have a tablecloth. You go somewhere else that you know they have tablecloths because your company can afford to use them. They can afford to buy them. They can afford to use them at all times. And realize that you go to a place where it's readily available. It may take you 15 minutes more, but it would have took you at least 3 hours to rummage around your entire fucking your entire inventory to see if you had a tablecloth that might fit something. Why don't you go to a store and just buy a tablecloth? Go to a store or a place where you know tablecloths are. Tip the person money and say, I need this tablecloth. I'm going to use it for the time being. And then you give it back afterwards. I didn't do that because I'm a dumbass. But, shit. God damn it, dude. You realize that, but you go somewhere where you know someone has tablecloths ready. And then you go to that place, and then you find a clean tablecloth, because you don't even know whether the tablecloth is going to be clean at all if you're at your place. Sometimes, if you don't have proper inventory, and if you know that people are messy sometimes, and they spit on things, or they do something that's stupid. Or they whack off in the tablecloth because they think it's funny. Just realize every problem has an easy and simple solution if readily available things are constantly around. You know, if you're available to pick off a whole bunch of different stuff from your job, and you're able to make sure that those things themselves Alright, I gotta heal now. Cool quantum. Okay, new cold quantum again. right. Also realizing that that in certain situations, you don't tell everyone and make anyone feel like they've done a different job, because you can make people feel confident with everything that you say sometimes, and proper work etiquette and everything like that can make sure that people themselves don't even feel like dealing with you at certain times, because alright, we are gonna get some aid now, because we use the Mongol dog meat, not feet. Let's check, see what's behind us. Those little nasty bastards, little ugly retards. Where is that? You'll find out eventually in your life that that there are people out there that sometimes just really don't care about not giving you a hard time. They want to give you a hard time. They want to push your buttons. They want to see how you react to certain things. They're gonna be there, and they're gonna look like they're stupid and dumb, but it's gonna help you in the end when you realize that you reacted the right way, and it's also gonna help you to realize that that people out there really do have your back on some things, and none of that meat's probably fried. Ah, damn it, I don't have any stim packs. But understanding that fact can keep you alive and keep you well paid in some cases. And I'm gonna murder this. Okay. And also by being the better person, you're not pushing anyone's buttons or saying that they're better or worse off than they really are, and you're giving people a really what's the word? You give people a really a way better what's the word? A way better kind of voice when it comes to certain things in their life, and a way better voice whenever they're talking about you or saying certain things about you. They're saying that guy is a really good guy, and he's like one of the best I've ever worked with, all the other stuff. They'll say those things because, I mean, you have to understand it's like it comes back around, you know? Like everything you do and say comes back around back to you. And God damn it, Oz. Fucking ran out of... Son of a bitch. Realizing that things are better off sometimes being like well said to you. Like just realize that you're better off. You're better off coming up with something a little bit more friendly, you know. And just realize that, and also realize the fact that. And that car's getting ready to explode. Here we go.
water. Oh shit, I thought that was a real other person and not paper. I realize a lot of times you can think about any sort of thing, any sort of situation that this kind of thing applies to, and you'll basically be like, it's everywhere. You know, positive reinforcement is better than negative reinforcement. No matter what kind of thing you get out from negative reinforcement, you'll always get more and always get better interest and better responses from positive reinforcement. It's just a known fact. And I think that people who give negative reinforcement or negative feedback, they are looking for someone to bounce back at them, to say that, and that may in a certain way may make you think that, oh, he likes it when I tell him back, when I talk back to him, but that creates a terrible dynamic sometimes that people are just bound to fail with. Because you can start giving people negative feedback or give that whole thing a whirl and realize that no, not everyone likes that. And when you harass someone, basically, you can basically suffer the consequences, not knowing that you're just trying to be yourself, basically, or trying to do something that your last boss thought was funny, or thought was hilarious, or thought was cool, and eventually you'll realize that that person sometimes isn't the best role model to even follow. And no matter what kind of reaction you have towards them, I guess, you'll start to realize that, and you'll start to understand that no, it's a bad thing. It's bad. There are bad people, and they're not all bad people, but they're shit. Oh man, this sucks, dude. But just realizing that people give you negative reinforcement, it's nothing that's ever to be invested in. You know, to realize that fact, that negative reinforcement can never be something that you really are led or I really wish that I threw it over that thing, and I really wish that I wasn't crouching down, I guess. Most of the time, I think that what people actually do with themselves, or what people actually know how to do with themselves,
Who's there?
Okay, I threw that back too far. I have 7 rounds for the minigun. Muzzled hardened. Oh my god. I don't know how that fucking decided to. Alright. Someone decided to break something, I guess. Somebody threw something. That's what they did. They threw something. So. Alright, but yeah, basically, if you're really figuring out where you want to be in life or where you want to be in your job, I suggest you going to different places and not trying to worry about whether they need you for a whole bunch or not. And
And realizing that there are, oh my god, he's got a missile launcher. I need the minigun, so I'm gonna shoot that guy upstairs before he gets a chance to shoot the missile or shoot anything. I'm gonna. All right. I've realized a lot of times that whenever I all right, here we go. Up to top. Okay, that was it. Bitch. Okay, let's go with muzzled hardened 10mm pistol. Oh, he's such a bitch. He forgot his. He gave him cover basically, by ruining his legs. Okay, I'm gonna get upstairs and fragmentation mine and what the shit. Did I kill him yet? I wouldn't have killed him, I guess. Okay, that guy's got a missile launcher, so what can I do to make sure that it doesn't get to me? I'm gonna put the fragmentation mine on, and then slighted light combat shotgun. So basically, I need to go back outside, I think. But I can do it. I know I can get these guys. I just need the right strategy. And also I need that missile launcher. So inventory. Let's see here. Fragmentation mine, and then also really wish I had some sort of throwable. Like again, okay. What the? Who? Oh, that's a robot downstairs. I don't have enough time. I know I can do this. It just takes me a little bit of time. And oh man, there's dirt on the bottom of my feet. So yeah, just realize you need positive reinforcement in a workplace, and you'll do better every time. Like, positive reinforcement no matter what you're doing, no matter how you're doing it, no matter the way you're doing it. And then just realize that not everyone wants to joke with you, you know? Especially if you feel as though that he's your younger brother and he deserves some sort of hardships for anything that he's ever been through, whether you know about it or not. You know, just realize that. And also understand that, no, I'm not a pussy. I'm just quiet. I've never been a pussy. Because I've been actually called a pussy sometimes. And that person got fired. So, I mean, after I had already gone, like, way away from that entire lifestyle of living. And near, like, oh man, it happened so long ago. But what you need to realize and understand about certain things, about certain people, is that they really do need better like talks and better positive influences. Because there's so many negative influences, especially in bar life or any sort of life or any sort of job. There are so many different negative influences that people deal with every single day. So you don't have to be kind all the time. You don't have to be all the way there or just all the time in someone's business or say that oh my God, this is really great. You did a really great job or anything like that. You don't have to tell them they did great all the time. But just be there for the positive moments and don't try to ruin them, you know? Don't try to say that someone's doing something they're not when you know they're not. Or try to be somewhere where you think they are because you think that somehow they're doing something that's not right. And I know I can't take these people out, so I need throwables. But yeah, just realize there are better ways to go about running or even being employed by a business. And there's no possible way that anyone, an entire place and an entire thing is looking for someone to be able to attach themselves onto in some sort of negative way, you know? And they shouldn't be, because if they are, then they're just really not looking for the right kind of employment. Whether they're smacking you on the inside of the thigh, or whether they're telling you that somehow you have to clean their bed and you have to do it after you do toe because somehow there's some sort of weird captain that likes it when the first mates clean his bed for some reason. Like, why the fuck is that even a job? Like, I'm not on a fucking boat that's in the 7 seas. I'm not looking for shit. You're not, oh man. If you can't make your own bed, you should not be driving a ship. Like, just, if you cannot make your own bed, you should not be on a boat. You know? If you can't make your own bed in the boat, then don't be on the boat. Like, just don't. And also, I'm sure that people want to find out that he was probably making people do his bed and his laundry and all that other different stuff. And he was probably drinking his ass off, and that's the reason why we had any problems at all. But that was a completely different situation, and that was before all the shit that ever happened to me at bars or any other place for that matter happened. And oh man, just realize that every bad situation that you handle very well makes you better. And realize that every situation that you diffuse and are able to be on top of makes you a better person, you know? And that's what I had to realize a really long time ago, whenever I was actually playing football, and it may have given me so many concussions that I can't deal with it. And yes, it did. But it gave me a better learning skill, and it told me that I wasn't alone in certain situations, and all I had to do was ask for help, you know? So, just realize that your people are out there with you, and those people will not just be out there with you, they'll be there for you. So, you know, just realize your support team is there, and realize those people will be on your side, and they won't try to tell you about yourself, but they'll actually try to joke with you and be a positive influence in your life. So, and if they're not, then find new friends, you know? Got him. Yay, I get more stuff. Being a positive influence in someone's life can be the everything that they need. It can be the everything that they want. It can be everything that they ever wanted. And it can be the best Christmas present ever.
I almost did a tune that would have been really funny. Realize that being yourself is the best thing you could possibly ever do. I'm gonna drop some of this junk. Plated flip lighter. Paintbrush, pencil, plastic knife, pumpkin, bat poison, ring stand, ruptured halogen gas canister, serval table knife, and that's it. Oh, it's 283. Steel 4. Vacuum tube 4. Wooden spoon. I'm gonna get rid of that ruptured one. Power relay coil. I guess military grade duct tape. Pack of cigarettes and pre-war money, I guess. I can pick it all back up. I'll just drop a couple of things. Chest piece. Some of this stuff. And get rid of another chest piece left on. Okay, now it's time to go trade. So realize being positive in a work environment is the real thing that you need to have. The real people that are there, they enjoy it when people are positive. They enjoy it when their friends are positive, and in no way do they need some sort of negative Nancy out there that just tells them when they're doing wrong and nothing else. My dad tried to do that whole thing with me and tried to tell me about all my problems, and then I realized that he had way more problems than I had, so it just felt like I needed to fix them. Every single time I had a problem with something. And then my dad realized that I was a lot better off than him sometimes when he was his age, and I didn't really give him much flack after that. I realized that I was doing a great job, and I was being a better person, and I wasn't into any hard stuff or any fucked upness. And the more he realized that, the more he started to realize that I was a better person for it, and that started to give me more positive influence and positive reinforcement and help me out with things and make me realize that I was doing a really great job, even though that sometimes I quit my job. But I got so much experience with everything. I got so much experience with most hospitality jobs that I've ever had, and customer service jobs, that I could probably be a manager. But I can most likely be a manager because of all the jobs that I've had. Or at least security manager or something like that, or something. I'm not sure. Or loss prevention manager or something, or loss prevention at all, because they're not really managed, I guess. They're more like just watched over and told what to do sometimes. That's basically managing. But I'm digressing. Realize you are your own one-person bomb squad. You can defuse situations that happen. You can make sure that you're better off than anyone else, just by sometimes taking the time out to make sure that people have
a good positive thing to say that comes from you. Just because that person is trying to tell you about yourself, or tell you that you did something wrong, or tell you that you're not being good enough, it doesn't mean they have to say it in a negative way. They could be saying, you know what, you're doing good, you're really doing good, but there's just one thing that you need to kind of take care of, and I would really like that if you did that. And that's all you have to do. Like, in every situation. You don't have to make fun of anyone or do anything or say people are bad or say people are hilarious, they're so amazing. It doesn't mean they're good at their job, that just means that they're hilarious. You know? I know plenty of really, really hilarious people that aren't good at their job. They wind up doing stupid shit and get into a whole bunch of dumb stuff, and then they don't come into work, and that's when they lose their jobs. So, that's what happened. I've had friends that have done that. I have friends that haven't had jobs in years, but I haven't had jobs in years. So I mean, that stuff still sticks with me, you know. And I know that I deserve enough to be able to feed myself, and I know that I eventually am going to be taken off disability no matter what. But I also know that one day, I think that one day is probably the day that I don't have to take medication either. And but I'm still going to keep taking vitamins. So, because they actually help. They actually really do help. Like, I've started taking a B vitamin supplement. Tara started taking glucosamine sulfate for my limbs and flexibility and stuff like that. And it works wonders. It really does. And I'm not taking those get slim quick things, because it dissipates. It's really weird, because what it does is it dissipates all the gas in your body, and what it can do, it can make a film that's kind of like it coats your organs in, I guess, or at least your intestines in, and eventually you're gonna realize that, like, you'll shit your pants because of gas X, or because of that tummy flattening stuff that still has the same contents of what gas X has in it. You'll find out that it coats your intestines in a thin film. So basically, you'll just wind up shitting your pants the next time you get drunk, or something like that, because your muscles aren't contracting it back. So, and also too, realizing that you shouldn't squat when you take a shit, because you won't be able to control it eventually, because of your muscles being pushed in a certain direction all the time. You shouldn't do the squatty potty, because that's the reason why, is because my stepbrother thinks that when you squat down and that you align your butthole with the ground or whatever, you're making a better shit. You're not. You're actually working less muscles, and you're pushing. What you're doing is you're aligning your butthole with the ground, and when that happens, it's a reflex. Okay. When you do that, it's a reflex. Okay. So when you take a squat or something like that, and you align your butthole with the ground, you can shit your pants, like, day one. If you're on like 100, maybe 120 pounds, and you're squatting 120 pounds, and you just go all the way down with it, you can have a blowout. Like, and blowouts aren't fun. Like, they are a blowout. The blowouts are bad. Like, they're bad. First of all, you shit your pants. Second off, I've seen blowouts before on the internet, and then sometimes in person. It's never fun. Like, it's never been fun to watch that. But it's something that needs to be seen, because it teaches yourself that you're, like, never supposed to... You're supposed to have a fear of going down too low when you squat. So do that. And also positive reinforcement. So, have a good day. And I'm going to do... Let's see here. Let's do luck. And I'm gonna go trade. I'm just auto-saving. Man. Just realize that. Just realize every single time you do something like positive reinforcement, and if you take a squat, and you're not, West Everett Estates, Slocum Joe's Corporate, Volt 75. What's in Vault 75? It's cleared. I cleared it. Okay. Old Gullet Sinkhole. Oh, that's right. That's right. I know what that is. Wildwood Cemetery, Rotten Landfill, Starlight Drive-In. I'm actually going to go play, after this I'm going to play Fallout New Vegas again because I need to, because I want to be in that place, but I don't want to go over level, I want to go over level 30, so, but I gets rid of all my addiction to chems, and that's a good thing. I'll be able to beat the whole map, but I just won't be able to go over level 30, and I want to do that though, so I'm not going to go there immediately. Yes, I'll probably try to beat the game first. Be yourself, and understand that there are people out there that know your struggle. They know your struggle, and they want to see you positively influenced and positively in the right place at the right time. And realize that every single president, okay, our presidents drink sometimes, and I don't know what else they do, but I know they drink. And in some cases, maybe they had a nightcap before, and then at night, and that nightcap was like maybe 10 beers or 10 shots of something, and they walk the next day and they talk, and then they say something stupid. But guess what? Our presidents are allowed to do that and then not seem weak within our country because they're stupid, but they're presidents. And we also realized that Hillary could have been president, and then we would have had an assassin in our president's office. She's an assassin. She's an assassin. Like, Trump may lie and is kind of racist, but he's not a murderer. You know? Like, no one is ever talking about that. She murdered people. There are so many people that if not, she's not a murderer, then she's just irresponsible with her security. Like, completely irresponsible. If she's not a murderer, then she's irresponsible with security. That has to be the thing, because almost every single person that has ever like done things for her as far as her campaign goes, there's 30 people out of like the 90 people that have done her campaign, they've died. Like, they've died. Some people who have carried finances and all that other different stuff, it's like those people are dead. Like, no matter what, just realize she doesn't look after those people. She doesn't think about those people. I'd much rather have a person who's just a tad, like, on the border about things sometimes than a person who outright murders someone. Or someone who acts like a celebrity and then murders 37 civilians in a drone strike. I'm talking about Obama. But I'm also saying that Trump is irresponsible with tweeting. He cannot tweet. He can't tweet. He's a dumbass. He's a big dumbass. And he doesn't know how to say the truth sometimes because he gets influenced by all these people who are constantly opinionated. But also, too, if you think about it, it's kind of smart to say all those things on tweets sometimes because it's getting it out there. It's saying, wow, this thing is being peer-reviewed, you know? Because presidents have not been stupid, okay? They're all smart as far as book smart. They're all smart. All of them. Some of them are socially retarded. Some of them. The ones that aren't socially retarded sometimes can make the wrong decision as far as military strategy goes. But I'd much rather have a person who's a military strategist and a person who knows how to keep us fucking safe, but understandably so. If he's bad at tweeting, then I don't really give a shit. I don't really care. Like, he can say whatever he wants to say. He's not, okay, this is the smart part about what Trump is actually doing. He's like Kanye West, okay? Everything that he's saying and all these other different things, he's hearing from different people and all that other different stuff, because he's hearing it from different people. Kanye West, he's always hearing it, all these other things from different people around him, all right? when he's high, when he's drunk, when he gets fucked up, when he sees people and stuff like that, he talks to them. He sees them, he talks to them, he thinks they're cool, all that other different stuff. He talks about his friends constantly, okay? All of his friends, he's seeing all that stuff, and then he repeats what they say to see if everyone reacts to it differently. So imagine this, a president who's not sure what people are actually saying about him, how they're actually saying it. Do you think he's actually running this shit by us instead of actually like saying this is the right thing and that's the only right thing? He's gauging people's net. It's like people are like this. It's like a girl on Instagram, okay? She's a model, all right? She does whatever she does. She models bathing suits. She gets dressed up in character uniforms or outfits, whatever. She asks you, what's your favorite TV show? You know how much she gets paid to do that one single specific thing? To ask your opinion? To say that she likes certain things, but she actually does like those certain things? Oh my God, could people on Instagram be saying the truth? Oh my God. But besides that, I'm going way too long, but it's okay. Have a good day, and realize this. Presidents are smart, no matter if they're antisocial or some sort of like person who just stays to themselves inside of their vacation home. It's not their vacation home. They're not actually on vacation. They're doing paperwork. They just want to relax afterwards. That's all Bush was doing. Okay? And they're not always responsible for every stupid fucking thing that happens in the goddamn country. They're not like a fucking Kim Jong-un bullshit. What are we trying to do here? Are we trying to act like we're some sort of, like, just to seem nicer to Russia or some sort of thing? I don't think we are. I don't think we should. I don't think we should pander to whatever the fuck things mean something about. Like, it's just, and also, are we really a republic? Because Democrats and Republicans have acted like they've owned this country for centuries. For a century. A full century, probably. 300 years, maybe. And they were all racist back in the day. Every single time. They were all racist. They just didn't give a shit. They were all racist. They didn't care about human rights. They didn't care. But someone who was around them did, and then they thought they should go with that guy. They were all terrorists, okay? We were once all terrorists. Not all of us, but our country was once a terrorist. Almost every single country has had to go through that entire thing and then realize, oh my God, we're exactly like everybody else. Who gives a shit, right? Just don't promote a whole bunch of government shit because people lie. They don't take responsibility for shit. That's the whole reason why we walked away from the UN. That's the only reason we walked away from the UN. It's because other governments were like, we don't have to be responsible for this, but the US is going to give more money because they can. No. That's the whole reason why we stayed out of that whole US Pact Act with the whole stupid climate change. Obviously, climate is changing. It's not going to mean... Do you know how many fires happen in 1 year in California? Do you know how many fires happen all over every single place in the world? More than that. Way more than that. So many more than that. Do you know that an entire nuclear plant exploded in Japan, fucking went haywire? That had more to do with global warming than any of cars in existence. These things have existed. Irradiated materials have existed. They have done more for global warming than any car or any person or any cow ever in existence. Ever. It's bound to happen. It was always bound to happen. It's something you can't control. You can't control it. You are about, let's see, 350,000 decimal places into what could be one. Let's say, okay, I want to do 300,000 decimal places past zero. One. That's how you're like 300,000 zeros and then one. That's how much you affect the current climate that has ever been. Ever. Irradiated materials have been the #1 cause of global warming in the entire history of worlds, of any world. that has ever existed in the history of the universe. Realize that. That's it. Realize that whole thing. Oh, it got hot in your car. Oh my God, there's global warming everywhere. No, there's seasons of cooling and seasons. Okay, there's seasons of cooling and seasons of heat. Okay, because you have to understand it has a lot to do with our actual movement around the sun. You know, like when it gets closer during a certain celestial spin, because it's not even. All right, so think about it. It's not even. So what happens when that thing starts to speed up or slow down? Because there's intervals of both, and that's what's actually that and nuclear materials. It's what's actually making anything. And believe me, nuclear materials have been around since Jesus, if Jesus ever existed. Like the whole thing. Like just realize that whole thing. And it's like, but I don't have to be responsible about it. Because you know what? If you're not responsible about it, then who would care? Like, make a fire. Not in California. Make a fire when California gets rivers. Because that's what they should have had in the entire time. And it would have gave them what? Humidity. And protection against the elements. Because that's what humidity does most of the time. It may seem like it's hotter, but it's making you sweat more. Because that's the reason why it should. Because if you sweat, then you're colder. And your internal body temperature goes down. So realize that. And also understand that's the reason why they'll eventually fall off, because they don't have any rivers that are keeping their ground completely and utterly wet and malleable and stuff like that. Because if it's not malleable, it cracks. And when it cracks, it'll fall off into the ocean because it's stupid. Realize that. There was a commission, okay? A commission done. Not a commission, but a land commission done, okay? When they put those dams and stuff before a whole bunch of different stuff in California, because they thought that if they rooted up the dry land, they'd get more gold, okay? That's done and gone with. They should literally dredge out some canals and make some irrigation for people down south on California now, because that's the only reason they did it. They did that a long time ago because they thought they could get more gold from the ground. That's it. Because they thought if they break up the ground easier, if there's less humidity, then they can crack up the ground a lot more and then strike oil or strike gold. That's all. That's all they thought. And my hair is being weird. That's all they ever thought. That's basically it. Like, that's the only reason why they would ever try to dry up any sort of ground, is if they were mining for something. And that has stopped since a long time ago. So you need rivers. And if you don't have them, or if it starts too fast, or if they do it too fast, it'll dredge up the entire whatever it is, and they won't have any sort of stuff. But sort of stuff. Just realize that. And also, nuclear materials did way more for global warming. Just realize that. And also our spin on the axis of the world, of the sun, not the world, of the sun that is not a world, because it's not habitable, obviously. By anything that's not a complete metal or a complete solid or complete gas, I guess. But also realize that everything's alive, you know? Everything is alive. It always has atomic structure. Atomic structure means energy. So energy itself can be propelled, or I don't know. It's alive, basically. Just realize that. Alright, I'm gonna go do something, and actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Just realize that, you know, realize it, and also, have a good day, I guess. You know, have a good day. Let me see what my other power armor is. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do.
wonder what Vault 75 was. But yeah, be yourself, you know? There's so many ways to do something that makes sense or makes sense to someone else. I'm going to try to find a caravanner because they usually give me better prices. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do like an hour and 30. So, science is not hard. It's not hard to think about. And people are going to realize that, like, if we would have gone with a bunch of stuff, I think, we would not be here today. You know, I like to think we would be here, but okay. I'm gonna try to see if I can go here and try to find some Mire alerts. Get rads. This shit is annoying. Just understand that there's cool.
Got it.
And also, the research has been done on the whole nuclear materials being a possible thing, and it's real. Like it's like for every car that would ever even put an iota of carbon into the air, remember that carbon gets filtered with osmosis. Like it all does. Like it all falls to the ground, basically. Eventually, because that's the reason why. Like realize that part, and then also realize that most of the time when you're talking about carbon or any sort of emission, it blotting out the sun or in any way making people feel as though they're not whatchamacallit, safe, I guess, as far as from what global warming could do. All right. Got 48 left. Where's that? Bitch. Got it. And also, anytime you're, you feel as though that I'm wrong, you can look it up on science and not realize, and you'll use hipster logic, you know? I'm not saying this for people who, like, they're, I don't know. I'm just gonna... Don't use hipster logic. It's not cool, you know? There's nothing Republican about science or Democratic about science. Shouldn't be considered inside of a vacuum.
Because they're both vacuums right now, and they're annoying as fuck to me. Oh man, it's like they're both annoying. Like just everything about what Republicans and Democrats are doing as far as not funding media to be able to give shit. Not funding media to be able to give freaking whatchamacallit,
Something's out there. There you
are. I've seen a lot of stupid shit, so I mean I know, and also I've read a lot of science books. Like I've seen a lot of science notes. Cool, I got a laser pistol thingy or whatever. I'd have to leave some of the weapons I have. I'm gonna leave the combat knife, semi-automatic auto pistol, and 13.8 pounds. That's heavy as fuck. I'm gonna bayoneted hardened sniper rifle. Let's see what guys. I'm gonna drop the sniper rifle, a hardened sniper rifle in. Man, just let's go down the road here, see if we can find a caravaner. And trade. Just realize that positive reinforcement is the key to getting what you want. I know that I'm not going to change anyone's thing, and that's why I think I'm not gonna say anything positive about what's going on in political weathering today. You know, because I know I'm not going to change anyone's mind. I know I'm not, because I don't feel like it, and it's just not worth the time. Because if they don't realize that they're ruining our economy by fighting back and forth with stupid bullshit and acting like goddamn wrestlers, that they're fucking, it's just, goddamn, it's so fucking annoying. They're so stupid. So many stupid people that think that they're on top of their game when actually they're literally not relevant at all. And, like, yes, doesn't matter how much money you make, Elon Musk, you're not relevant. Or anyone else who thinks they're freaking controlling an economy of social distortion that makes this whole fucking thing go round, that you think that, oh my god, there's so many people out on Twitter that are telling you you're a douchebag. No, there's so many people, like the rest of society, saying, who gives a fuck, it's just a really good car. That's it. Like, no one gave a shit about what Ford had to say. Oh, that's a lot of dogs that are gonna kill me. Oh, shit. They're trying to kill me. Oh, man. If I didn't save, god damn it. Oh, well. I think I was better off just going to find a Canada Caravaner rather than. I don't care what anyone says. Jill Stein had some good ideas. That's it. And that's why I voted for her. And it's not because, oh my god, stop Trump and stop Hillary. No, they should have stopped already. They're both stupid. That's the reason why. They're both dumb. They're both dumb. Democrats and Republicans do not control the White House. Okay, there are checks and balances put in place that no single party could ever have control over anything, complete control or anything. So like, what the fuck, man? Just get some people in there that know what they're doing and want to push some sort of positive project to be able to make sure that people have stuff to eat and stuff to be able to help themselves with. It's the whole reason why any of them came here. It's the whole reason why like they agreed. Like they could have ran away. People could have ran away. Like the slaves could have ran away. You know, at the middle of the night. They didn't. They decided to go along with shit, like to see where it went, and it's like trying to treat people nicely and shit. You know, just trying to say like, it's gonna be a good day, man. Like, it really is. You know, people are starting to realize that all these people's stupid bullshit is just gonna run back at them, and no one's gonna be there to freaking check it for them if they're not there to check it themselves. You know, it's not a revolution. It's just bound to happen. You know, it's not a revolution. It's not an epiphany. It's just bound to happen because people are stupid. And I'm going to keep doing this because I stayed up last night for a long time, so I'm going to do a bunch of stuff. And no one's listening to me because I say stupid shit when people are on. So whatever. That's cool. Oh. I have anxiety, so. But that's basically the root of my anxiety sometimes, is realizing that people are just that fucking retarded. Like, just stupid people. And just, man, just. I'm gonna go to Diamond City because I don't give a shit anymore. I need to go get some water, but I'll be back. And I always work myself up and then put myself back on. But this is what I'm doing. I'm doing a 4-hour stream, and until people realize that thrift stores in your area are the best thing sometimes for people who need to be able to work for jobs or be able to have a job or be able to do things, because I've gotten most of my amazing clothes or good clothes from thrift stores, and I know that a lot of other people have gotten their stuff from thrift stores, and I've gotten pillows and stuff like that. I mean, I Lysoled them after, not Lysol. I resolved them afterwards and then sprayed them down and stuff like that, because I mean, you never know, basically, unless people actually wash them or people actually put them out. There's a bunch of hands looking at them to see their viscosity and stuff like that, or their softness or whatever. But just realize thrift stores are the cornerstone sometimes of what people actually make for themselves, you know. And if you're not looking to basically revamp your entire life sometimes, if you're looking to move, you know, you can find dishes, plates, stuff like that. Really cool, like, unique stuff. Like, there's really cool stuff. There's really cool stuff, man. Oh well.
You'd be surprised how many old
I'm gonna get some water.
doctors still use.
And probably another energy drink.
So, you're not invited.
I feel like I'm talking to myself here. Blue, you okay? So we done talking? Hop in whenever you like. Hey, you still in there? Well, don't go all quiet on me. Yoo-hoo. In the middle of a conversation here. So we done talking? Feel like I'm talking to myself here. Yoo-hoo. In the middle of a conversation here. Blue, you okay?
All right. Got my water. Got my energy drink. And I already had a bunch of pastries for breakfast when I woke up.
Still in there?
All right, I'm gonna put some different shorts on because these ones stink, and I've worn them for 3 days now.
Hop in whenever you like.
Yeah.
Well, don't go all quiet on me.
Just lost in thought. That's all he is. All right. All right. Here we go.
Blue, you okay?
Thanks. You too.
No, I didn't mean like... I could just use some help.
This isn't the sort of thing I'd normally bother anyone else with, but you just seem really good with people, and I've got this issue with my sister, Nat, becoming mean.
Becoming you? What do you mean?
I'm just terrified she's gonna start taking up like her big sis. I mean, think about the life we lead. No offense intended, really, but personal safety doesn't exactly seem like either of our strong suits. I can't have her ending up like her big sister, dodging bullets and running from all the people she pisses off. It's part of the reason I'm on the road so much. Part of the reason I'm here with you. I keep thinking, maybe if I make myself scarce, if I'm not around her enough, she'll cool off. She'll just go back to being sweet, innocent Nat, paper girl, and all-around upstanding citizen. What do I do, boo?
You don't get to decide who Nat's gonna be, Piper. She does. All you decide is whether you want to be a part of her life or not.
You're right. She's her own person, and always will be. Thanks, Boo. You'd expect wandering off with a stranger to turn out this well. You really don't make them like you anymore. You're a hell of a friend, you know that?
The feeling's mutual, Piper.
Ain't that the truth? But hey, thanks again for listening. It's a real weight off my chest to be able to talk it out with someone. So, you wanna hit the road?
Let's do this. We're going up.
Don't think I can pick this.
Oy oy oy. Got a Molotov cocktail. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna go to the thingy thing. The Diamond City. Oh. It's a good pickle. Good pickles. Pickles are good. Pickles help when you cramp. Pickle juice too. Drink pickle juice. If you feel like you get a cramp or something like that, or you got to stretch or something,
Broke up with my girl.
eat a pickle. Man, be the best thing you ever did in your life.
Could ever need is right here. If we don't have it, it's inconceivable.
Inconceivable. Hilarious.
Anything and everything.
Princess Bride reference. Apparel. Weapons. Some millimeter power pistol. Hunting rifle. Knuckles. Laser pistol. Pipe pistol. Pipe bolt action pistol, it's stupid.
recon calibrated powerful pipe rifle, short combat shotgun, short pipe rifle, good. Then and get rid of. Oh wait, no, cancel. No, confirm trade, and then talk to
Hey.
Piper and trade. Gunner's note, hallucinogen, ladies auxiliary tape, and that's it.
We're having a sale on brooms. Oh no, wait. My programming is telling me we never have sales. Maybe you should buy something else.
I'll take a look, sure.
Excellent.
52 cat for 600 or 200 blah. 50 caliber rounds. I wonder what that goes to. 54, 44, 45. $245, and then we're gonna get rid of blue torch gears, pre-war money, scalpel, wonder glue, Mirelurk meat. Can sell the stealth boy, I don't need it usually, and 31, and let's go to the other one. 14. Get rid of that one, it's 102, and 30, 326. Damage 30, 19. Recon calibrated powerful pipe rifle 34. See which gun does the least amount of damage. Plasma pistol does 24 plus damage. I'm gonna sell the minigun, I don't need it. And sell this C2. And confirm trade. Let's see here. What time is it on this game? 3:34 a.m. Awesome. That's the back in Radix.
Don't worry. You're safe when he says here and that's safe.
I'm gonna go talk to the mayor.
Yes?
Nothing. I'm just gonna go up to the mayor's office, the mayoral office. Alright, we're being in this elevator for a long time.
So, you're that traitor Piper was talking about. Something tells me she's pulled the wool over my eyes again. Am I right?
Piper's done this before?
All the time. Thing is, sometimes she's bluffing, and sometimes there really is a group of 50 raiders just over the hill screaming for blood. So I usually just let her in. Not this time, though. Mayor's on a warpath. Anyway, welcome to Diamond City and all that. I gotta get back to work.
Excuse me.
Can't talk. All this chatting is gonna tarnish my tough coppers.
Can't believe you would do that, Piper. Lie about people and things. Can't believe she's a person. And she gets scared. Just like everyone else in the world. So goddamn good. I love pickles. Yeah, it's time to cross.
and get on that fucking bridge. Where's she at? Bridge. God damn it, Oz. Tried to rush him. Thought he wouldn't be that big of a deal. If you notice, my southern accent is non-existent. Because not a lot of southern people have accents. Or I'm a part of an alien group called the Body Snatchers, where we snatch the bodies of lowly Southerners, put them on a different planet, and then walk around and act like we're them. So, there's that. Where's my cigarette? Yeah, so, basically, I've invented a new form of the word, wish. Really wish that my headphones would work on the PlayStation because I'd get a better sound quality, but that's not always the case. So I eat a lot of food. It's fun. Oh, that's awesome. Saw the Zelda style backpack on sale on it's really freaking cute. It's Bourbon Street, not Sesame Street. Shit. Played them. Alright, so keep on playing. See if where my thing's at. Nope, it's not done yet. Let's go and see if we can go to find someone. says the mayor. Where he said the mayor. Being a nobleman, except in the case of the Covenant, because they were way too nice. And plus, they were trying to find sense in a crowd of people, even if they were sense, they wouldn't even know if they're sent. And also, I think Fallout takes a lot of dialogue from Battlestar Galactica in some senses.
So, you're that traitor Piper was talking about. Something tells me she's pulled the wool over my eyes again. Right?
I was just standing there.
Yeah, that's usually the case with Piper. Someone stands there and she talks. I'd be sick of her by now if she weren't so damn fearless. Kind of rubs off on her. Anyway, welcome to Diamond City and all that. I gotta get back to work.
Right on inside.
Wow, a storm. Rads. Awesome. So the storm's outside, but it's not inside. That's weird. So it happens all over today. This today. See if I can help the people be free and stuff. Or whatever. This Piper likes that, and she's cool. She's a cool lady. A cool lady! Lady that's cool! Oh wait, never mind. It is on here too, so it's okay. I have a bunch of stuff now. Can use the power armor station, that's cool.
Need something, Scabbard?
Officer?
If you're heading outside the wall, you might want to stock up a Commonwealth weaponry first.
I'm telling you, it ain't just a store. University King, that settlement on the coast, wiped out by synths.
Settlement on the coast. Oh, wiped out by synths. I took care of it. Cleared it. Cleared that place. Cleared them all. Cleared all of them. Cleared it, cleared it. Cleared it. And then cleared it. Public occurrences. P.O. Like P.O. Box. That's cool. Let's just chill out. Let's use Piper's terminal. See what she knows. The Synthetic Truth article. View from a Vault Part 1. Whenever I take a walk through Diamond City, there is no Things people tell me: grateful, purified water, working lights, electrical security. True, we have been unthinkable even a few decades ago. But it's easy to forget that even after all the progress we made, we are still living in the shadow of a world that was a world before the threat of radiation, before a super mutant, the feral ghoul has sunk. So as fortune often has it, to cross paths with Jousty McJoust, just Vault Dweller, a person who is experiencing the Commonwealth for the first time. What would his fresh set of eyes say about as far we've come? The Diamond City is a great green jewel we have always claimed it to be. Is Diamond City the great green jewel that was claimed it to be? Before we began to answer the question, you have to know Jousty McJoust is where he comes from. To my surprise, he did not have much to say about his life in the vault at all, because he spent all the time staring at a piece of frozen glass every day for 2 centuries. That's right. Jousty McJoust isn't just a vault dweller, he's an original vault dweller. He spent his entire time inside the cryogenically suspended. Continue part 2. Let's go to part 2. So what's Jousty McJoust have to say about seeing Diamond City for the first time? Honestly, seeing everyone surviving out here, rebuilding the world, it gives me hope. Hope when was the last time someone in our city talked about? Hope wasn't some political fishing for points in the next election, making empty promises at the wall. The wall! Ah! It's funny because it has a lot to do with the wall. Walls. Oh. Which I think, in some cases, would cause more casualties in our real world, I think. Because, especially when it's being made, if people would come through or people patrol it on both sides, that would be cool. But, I mean, I think Mexico has a serious problem with gangs and the mob in some cases. And there are a lot of people getting kickbacks from a lot of different stuff that we should be concerned about sometimes, and we should really be more focused on what's going on our borders than the ones that other people share sometimes, and we should really be concerned about its peoples as well, because I mean, if they're driven to seriously run away from a serious situation sometimes. And in some cases, they're drug mules, or in some cases, they're hidden terrorists, or in some cases, they're being paid by some sort of outlandish scheme to bring like stupid shit into our country and stuff like that. I mean, and we have to nip that in the bud and work with, I think, a lot of Mexico government services, because especially on our Canadian border too. We need to come up with some sort of plan and say, you know what, it's not okay to do stuff sometimes, and we need to really crack down on what makes our country safe. We really have opinions shot back and forth about. There are so many things that the EU just doesn't get right. And I think that if we start to realize that this whole thing sometimes is a distraction from helping this hemisphere of the Earth being united on something, I think some sort of change needs to be involved, and I think we need to start focusing on not just businesses going to Mexico and to even South America. Or Central America, for that matter. We need to focus on the kidnappings in Honduras, and really get into what makes. And I think that's what we've been doing as far as intel, focused intel on immigrants. Sometimes, there is a lot of human trafficking underneath our own noses. Sometimes that comes through because of our distractions with how we're treating some people that we don't even know, or we don't even understand, or not even don't understand, but people have just ignored stuff like our economy tanking sometimes, and in some cases inflation as well. If people aren't realizing that it has a lot to do with
new businesses being uprooted because of gang violence and fucked up people who just don't really have any morals whatsoever. It has nothing to do with just immigration, but it has a lot to do with selective immigration or selective immigrants that really do try to make or undermine our political society. And within that resonates, I think, with me. And we need to pay attention to Mexico more often. And we need to pay attention to helping it, because it is our friend. We are friends with Mexico. We trade with them. We do a bunch of stuff, and we should be there and have their back in situations where they're being extorted by certain companies and certain governments, or certain even certain factions within their own city or in their own groups, and drive-bys and shit in the 80s and 90s. Gosh, man, there was so much crime in Mexico that it was like it was just second nature for someone to get a whole bag of, or a whole ton of heroin on call and just take it across the border. And it wasn't just weed, like it wasn't just stuff that people like stop cars for. It's fucked up shit, and people need to understand that sometimes they'll be growing heroin right next to weed sometimes too, and that runoff can be terrible sometimes, and we need to understand that if we want to give people more options to be able to sustain their life in other countries as well as different things, we need to realize that having a really good relationship with Mexico and its citizens and its government is priority numero uno, you know. And I just think a lot of times we're set by the wayside when we try to just nip the problem in the bud, when a good relationship with Mexico is really what we need, and not just their companies, because their companies can come from different places. They can come from South America or anything like that. They could be immigrants themselves, but a good relationship with the government and a constant watch on what people are sometimes even putting in their bodies, and that's even sometimes what causes people to be so easily suggested to lead a life of crime, you know. And then because they're not healthy enough, or they feel as though their future is going down the drain, and then small cities and small villages are taking the blunt force end of it sometimes in Mexico, and a lot of times I think that if they were to give Mexico a voice, I guess, or maybe even like unite, you know, like as an end result, that would be amazing, you know, and be able to have two different governments work together and make customs better, you know, and then we wouldn't see a whole bunch of different things coming from the Middle East, or even Cuba, and Cuba would have a problem with it, but they're an island. They don't see the future sometimes. They don't see what it is. They've been running drugs. Cuba's been running drugs constantly from different places, and it's hard to see, but if you understand and follow the money and different things like that, you'll find that there are a bunch of things that Cuba does that it's just not cool as far as government relations goes. And I think that the Russians and that Russia and Cuba still have a dialogue, and they shouldn't, because it's just. And I'm Cuban, so I mean, it's something that hits close to home for me. Like, I'm just really not seeing the whole. They're not really seeing the whole bigger picture, that they should be working with us and not Russia. It just having a democracy inside of what
and realizing that they ran drugs constantly through different countries and suspected as spies, or thought they were spies because of their peering eyes, their peering ears, or something like that. That's literally the whole reason why Honduras had kidnappings in the first place. I mean, it's not hard to say, and the reason why there are gangs and different people who are trying to look for government approval to be able to make themselves a group or a milita. They basically were inspired, and people have to understand that Russia had a hold on Cuba for a long time, and it's going to take a lot of different dialogues between different people to be able to make sure that we can have an open and free market. And if they don't understand it, then we'll have to do another freaking shitty talk to be able to be like, y'all guys can't do this and can't do that, because there are so many things that Cuba did back in the 70s and 60s and 80s, or 80s, 70s, and 60s that we're seeing today. It's like the megalodon in some cases in the ocean, because if people are afraid to even talk to some people sometimes, to talk to the cops or talk to the people who are actually enforcing laws in Mexico, and it's a terrible stream of information that just comes through, and where they were cutting kids' heads off that they thought were some sort of thing to send a message or something like that. It's just like, no, man, you can't do that. People have problems with that shit, you know. And then and Europe, I think, is being slowly pushed into this whole a fear of pissing off world leaders that don't really give a shit about their people, that don't re-educate them or tell them that they're doing well. But like, Europe is just, it's real, man. It's real. Like, there are so many different problems happening in our world that it's like one more problem is the fact that we're not even talking sometimes to Mexico whenever we're trying to take out the biggest guys. We're not extraditing them to Mexico or telling them that they need to understand that Cuba can't stay like that. They can't be that way and understand that no, there's not going to be any trade goods or anything like that. We don't trade with Cuba. And they're in some ways closer than most countries that we do trade with. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people realize that Russia did that, to cut off our trade routes, to cut off a trade route basically to different places like Haiti and a bunch of different places from different people. And that's what Russia's reach did, in order for us to not be able to do stuff, and then to attack our government, and not just affect elections, but to affect the people's constitute of and to try to put someone who they think is irresponsible or has had government inconsistencies for all time, like oh my God, like he talked about Republicans and told them that they were stupid in the 80s, like they were just stupid. He would say that they were stupid because there were different regimes that were stupid. Like, they were stupid people who just thought that they could push their agendas and keep their agendas going, and then no one would even find out. And they were stupid. And that he was right about that. But man, there's got to be a talk with Mexico to be like, we got to work together and make sure these people don't fuck up everything for everyone. Because Russia had a hold on them forever. Still had communications with them. It's been completely and utterly freaking, like, yeah. Like, Russia just decided to become Cuba. And Russian KGB agents came in and decided to try to ruin our government and our trade points. And that's what they did. They tried to, and then they tried to say that they were missiles pointed at this place to where we'd have a horrible relationship with them. And then they'd never want to be democratic because of the Bay of Pigs. And people have not realized that sometimes, I mean, especially even in John Kennedy's time, just they need to see a peaceful talk that will help people to make sure that they can extradite criminals or extradite people who have done fucked up things, and make sure that everything gets, there's paperwork, you know, for it. So it's just that. It's just we need to reestablish communication with Mexico, and our lower hemisphere for what it's worth, and there needs to be a better communication between people who are just citizens there and waiting for stuff, that's the excuse every single time is you can't make a freaking you can't make a possibility without offending people, and in most cases that's just not true, because there has been corruption and allegations of corruption for so many years in Mexico and different places, and if we're not careful, they'll fall just like things like that. They want us to be on our own, like Cuba, freaking Russia, and all those other different people. They want to be able to control the lower hemispheres, just like the Nazis did, or just like the Nazis tried to and then failed because they all died. They died. They didn't like seek exile in different places. They put them in prison and they rotted. They might have said that they were bringing them back to different places to get, but that plane never made it. It never did. Those planes with Nazis and people who thought they were going to get exiled because of what they knew or how they knew it. Just because you know something doesn't mean those people already knew that those people were getting tortured and broken down, or the nature of their experiments was complete and utter evil bullshit because it was funded or fueled and even completely and utterly encased in this complete stupid idiotic thing that they tell them people things they found out about the human condition or whatever. No, it's just they know already. Like, we know. We knew what was going on. We had people there all the time knowing what was going on and knowing how it was going on because they had infiltrated the Nazis before it even became a regime. They realized what it was doing in the 1930s and really just put people in and made sure to be able to have somebody on the payroll. So realize it. Realize that that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're seriously trying to do. And Canada, in a minor passive sense, is a part of it because in some ways we've seen them back off from so many different big positions and see as far as what Russia and a whole bunch of different other countries are trying to do to be able, a handful of different countries are trying to do is just to undermine the shit out of every single logic that ever was American. And that's why people get behind certain countries, because they believe that they'll get a chance to say their voice or say the things that they want. And I'm just saying, for example, is if you really want to make something, if you really want to do something, then find a place that's the freest you can possibly ever believe in. Don't find somebody that constantly watches you or constantly tells you what to do or constantly does something for you. Just realize that if we're not careful, then there will be a World War III. And I can see it coming already. So, and if we don't reestablish trade relations with Mexico or trade relations with and create more jobs where there were no jobs, and also realize that eventually they're going to have the same problems as us. They're going to need loss prevention and a whole bunch of different other things like that, and a whole bunch of different other people are going to need to be working together with a lot of people to be able to make sure that there are good governmental standings between the U.S. and Mexico. It is more than imperative, and we need to understand that we're more broken than the EU sometimes, as far as our relationships with South America and a whole bunch of different other things like that. They trade, they do stuff. They're racist as fuck sometimes, because there are different standings within the EU and different political things that stops the EU from ever controlling a single economy ever, or ever even lifting up a single economy. And there are different ways that they could actually do it, but they just find different ways to make sure that they can't control anything, or they can't understand anything, because they lack the ability to want to be united. And I think that's where we decide that we're not going to be like that. And not just socially, but understand the construct that if we're not talking, then we're just creating distance and distancing and emotional distancing, and realizing that if we're not talking with people and making sure that we're working with them and making sure that we can put in the time, then we don't deserve to reap the benefits. Like to say, I talked to my ex and told her she was still beautiful, and I thought she was really cool, and she insinuated or thought that I was just trying to have sex with her, and that wasn't the case. But that's what she does now. That's all she wants to do from me. That's all she wanted from me, I guess. And that insinuates that that's all she wanted. But realize that in that case, in that situation, that could be the situation that's what's happening. It's like you can't reap the benefits or the rewards if you don't put the time in. If you don't see something through, or see a situation through with your governments or with people that are supposed to be known and supposed to be exemplified throughout our government. Because in a lot of cases, they work for everything that we are. And everything that they should be as well is work with us on a whole bunch of different situations, and not just be janitors and shit like that, but be businesswomen and be respected, and businessmen as well, and be respected individuals among all governments in this hemisphere. And that's what Russia did. They just wanted to stop another trade place, to be able to make us go around and have to spend more money. And I say to that, we are spending nothing as far as what they spend to try to make us look bad. And that might have been a horrible, wrong regime of some kind. And if that is, then they should speak up about it. And then maybe start a dialogue that even makes us eventually, within, I'd say, a few decades, be able to eventually be friends and have some sort of market going on. And also, in the same sense, realize that any nationalist views are just terrible and dumb. Any one view of realizing that any people should be held upon a certain higher ground than anyone else, they should understand that they shouldn't be. So what? You're the son of a terrorist. So what? You're the son of a person who robbed a bank. So what? You're the son of a dude who was way too drunk and way too abusive to be able to help you with anything that you had. Don't use that as an excuse the next time you try to do business with someone who you feel as though can help you and be positive about it. And maybe that's what keeps people from making those positive comments, or thinking that positive influence could ever have an effect in someone's life, but it does. And it has everything to do with international relations, and it has everything to do with what we really want to do as a country, and what we want to do as a one people, because we are one people, and we need to start acting like it. And no matter if people are getting taken from their families or not, because they're dragging their kids through deserts, and it sucks. And granted, that's an offense in some ways that can be punishable, but understand that it's the beginning of something, and it's the beginning of people really focusing and understanding that they matter here, that what they do matters, and what they do to be able to fix something or help someone, it matters. It matters. Everything matters. It's what you do. And sometimes when you're backed up against the wall and you feel as though you have to walk through a desert to get away from it, it matters. It really does. And you can't drink lake water, because it's dirty. Alright, I'm going to keep reading this. because of the reason he came to the Commonwealth. You see, Joustin McJasterson has a son, Sean, and even though they were in relative safety of the vault, someone broke in and took Sean from his parent, and the parent is now risking everything, wandering through the strange and unfriendly world of ours, in order to save Sean from his kidnappers. All we know is rumors and whispers surrounding every missing person in Diamond City. The guilty looks as we pass in mourning family members as we thank the wall that this time wasn't us. It can't end up dead. You can't end up dead in Commonwealth for a million reasons. Why spend your time worrying about kidnappings? Why indeed? Indeed, continue to part 3. I gotta go back to part 3. Yeah. And you have to understand that that's the reason why people are losing faith in most of our government. That's the reason why people are losing faith at all, is because they believe they're not being properly represented. That's the reason why Obama was so unbelievably well liked, because he had a charisma. But I mean, everyone who has a charisma doesn't always make the right choices. And realize too that if you want to keep your money and be conservative in certain views while still trying to inspire people, then you're pretty much Republican. But if you're trying to be able to give to people to make sure that they can secure a future for themselves, and realize that both of those things work. And that's why Republicans and Democrats even exist in the first place. And also but also realizing that the fact that the media itself portrays, and I'm not saying they're liberalist or any Republican, because they can fake like they're both, because they're neither. But they seem to want to make sure that everyone in seem to want to make sure that everyone in every single part of our own government is aware that somehow we're not doing the right thing, even though there are a whole bunch of different people that they are not doing the right thing, when they had lobbyists in the 60s and 70s that basically got rid of every other party besides, or metaphorically got rid of every other party besides the Democrats and Republicans. And in some ways that had a lot to do with Russia and us playing into their fucking hands, playing right into their hands, like acting like we're not a free government was the first thing to make sure, or make it seem like Russia itself wasn't having that big of an effect, because it really wasn't affecting people's morals until now. Because of people looking at certain systems and seeing different things and trying to say that, oh my God, there's so much of government issues that people need to work around and stuff like that. But realizing that in the 70s we played right into their hands and played right into what we thought they were doing, because we're affected by other countries whether we like it or not. We are affected by other countries as well, so why not come up with some sort of response and say, no, we're not going to allow this to happen, and realize that there are people out there that really, really do help, and really are Navy SEAL teams that could take out a motherfucker at any given notice, and realize that those stupid fucking gangsters and dumbass motherfuckers who think they own Mexico are going to be gone soon. And people who really, really need action and to be able to have a free voice, and no matter what, if their government is decidedly so biased or introspective or stupid or completely corrupt, they need to understand that they still have a voice, and that the people have to understand that we are trying to build a world. We are trying to build an interaction. And if we're not trying to do that the entire time, then we're exactly like the stupid motherfuckers that try to ruin our country. And our friendships. And our lives. And it's easy for us to be cynical about the missing. We have spent so long knowing the Institute is out there, but knowing so little about them. They're not only the ones responsible for kidnappings, but the fact that there sometimes are, the fact that we have been so powerless to stop it when they do, causes us to treat all victims of kidnappings as if they were a lost cause. The people left behind, those loved ones, friends, neighbors, and who may never see the faces of those taken from them, they do not have the luxury of being able to just look away. They have to carry that loss with them, even if everyone else tells them that they move on and forget. I asked Justin to make a statement to the Diamond City to give us an outsider's perspective on what it seems to with their loved one, and now he feels maybe in some way that's how we should feel. Maybe we've forgotten that the right human responses to these tragedies are, you can only take it one day at a time, he said. Just keep going. That's all anyone can do. And I think a lot of times people try to be inspired by video games, and that makes me, it gives me hope that one day we'll be a united front on the biggest part of living with trying to be ourselves, while in the same sense trying to fight against or fight with people who don't understand our ways of life and don't understand that it's not the biggest deal to be able to see someone who you think is Russian or see someone who you think is American and see that person and be happy that that person is able to have the options, but understand that every single person, no matter what that person's nationality and or race or creed or anything is, they have options to be able to do something positive for themselves and pretty much anyone else. And that's what I think the biggest thing should actually be. Reader complaints files. Honor the wall. Reader complaint, happy story. For shame. Final choice of topic, sad about happy story. Maybe something about nice bar. About nice bar. Thank you for your feedback and stories and select the relevance. City populace. Personal response. Vadim, no story about your bar is going to going to end happily. That's hilarious. The more you start to focus on your personal problems, the more you leave behind people who could be helping you with your personal problems. The more you don't realize that that person who's set as your enemy, or is the person who gets set as your friend, or that person who's set as your enemy, could be eventually become your friend and open up a world of possibilities that literally no one else could even make, because everyone's got something different to bring to the table. I really think that sometimes people have to put into sometimes a dialogue, but I think that's not our last day in the UN, because in some ways we were its biggest contributor. In some ways, in money, in time, and in some ways contributions of literally just any kind. And I think the more we lose patience with everyone around us, the more we're going to realize that it's going to be very lonely, and people are going to realize that eventually we played into their hands. We played into everyone's hands that wished us ill will or didn't want us to have something that they wanted. But realizing the fact that everyone needs to get something, that there's enough of this world to pass around, and there is enough of this place to be able to enjoy, and everyone to be able to enjoy it, and not just America, but the world, and realize that the more you fix your sights onto a goal, the more that goal seems attainable, because you're focusing on that goal. And if you realize that the people themselves in other countries and other places that aren't that are affiliated with us in some way as far as business goes or anything like that, the more you have to realize that those people want opportunities either where they are or where we are. And the more you have to realize too is that I know for a fact that in some ways religion and in itself, a lot of things were built or based in racism. But that's not the way that some people lead their lives today. And you have to understand that in some cases, in some ways, some people just made it about race. And the message of a whole bunch of different people weren't trying to be like that, but that's the way that it ended up being because of the face of some douchebag that literally just called them blonde hair and blue eyes. And that's just the last part. I mean, it didn't matter what his eyes were or his face was. It didn't matter how his face was. It just mattered that he had a face. Whoever the person was that you adorn or try to say is your prophet or your savior in some way. Just realize that it's made up to give people hope in a situation where their everything is going to shit. And that's where religion in itself kind of flourishes, I guess, within the hearts and minds of people who actually believe in it, and that gives them hope in situations that may shock them or jolt them morally. And that's their personal choice. Telling them that it doesn't exist is going to make them believe in it any less. It's the same way with people who believe in Satan or some sort of bullshit that sacrifice goats to something or whatever. And if they sacrifice people, then they're probably going to jail soon. Realize that, I mean, that no matter what you believe in or how you believe in it, you should give someone the opportunity, or someone else the opportunity that doesn't believe in it, to be able to prove you right about yourself, or to be able to prove you right about something else. And also keep a dialogue going in order to be able to make sure that eventually that relationship can flourish. And if I know for a fact that if we don't look at all the kidnappings that has been in Honduras because of Cuba and Russia and all the other different stuff, because at first it wasn't their fault, but now it is, because literally I know for a fact that Fidel Castro's face didn't even look Cuban, all right? He didn't look Cuban, all right? I don't know why, I don't know how, I just know that he didn't look Cuban, all right? He didn't look it. He just looked fat, and he looked stupid, and he was dumb. But I also know that if we don't keep ourselves around the whole options of being able to be near some place that helps us and makes us feel like we're there, and also realize that that could be every place. And also, there are so many people that have died in North Korea in the 90s that I don't even know why anyone would want to be there, or go there, or say that they're going there for some sort of bucket list or some shit. It shouldn't be a bucket list. It should be literally because if Kim Jong-un or any of his family decide to come in and take whatever they want to, or take however they want to take it, they should be literally shot on the spot. They're criminals. And criminals in the worst sense of the word. Not criminals that's going to rob you at gunpoint, but criminal that's going to come up to your house and then try to shoot your dog and then shoot you, but just because they want to see you look at your dog dead before you die. That's where it stands with America and North Korea. That's where it always stands with America and North Korea. Because they decided to take their entire population, or at least half of that, and put them in internment camps in the 90s, literally, and underneath his son Kim Jong-un, or Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un's father, who literally did this all while taking in celebrity guests and acting like he was going to get movies, and literally held a movie doer hostage in order for stupid shit to get made. Because, oh my God, it's so inspiring or whatever. People have been saying such stupid fucking opinions about how, oh my God, it's just dumb shit, man. It's just dumb shit. People say dumb shit, and it's just... And you wonder why people keep to themselves. You wonder why people don't want to be able to push that agenda. Or you wonder why people don't want to push some sort of agenda on someone, because they don't want them to think anything about them sometimes, because they want to remain in anonymity. But that's going to make every single person become the most silentest versions of themselves, and we won't be outspoken or even we'll be outnumbered. And people who are just not terrible, but governments who are running people like sheep and cattle, and not worrying about how, oh my God, all this stuff even works at all, this internet or anything. And then the FCC takes down a whole bunch of different stuff that they have to take down because we're losing money. I bet you if the FCC hadn't have done what they did, we'd be bankrupt by now. They were seeing money being literally taken away from a whole bunch of stuff and being reconstituted into Bitcoin, into a whole bunch of different bullshit, into human trafficking, into literally human rights violations that are just so fucking outrageous that if you saw them, you'd shit your pants immediately. You just shit your pants because of the sheer ferocity of what that person fucking does. Like, there's so many fucked up things going on in the world, and everyone wants to talk about, oh, Black Lives Matter, a whole bunch of different shit matters. Obviously it fucking matters. Take your sign and hold it up high. But if somebody says take a gun and hold it up to some dude and fucking shoot that guy because he fucking made the worst decision of his entire life by trying to rape a young girl and then tell him that a whole bunch of different stuff happens, and that's the reason why I got 20 minutes of action or whatever, don't shoot him. Realize that everyone makes mistakes, but also the action cannot be vilified, cannot be given infamy. People themselves need to be shown they need to be known and identified because they're stupid and they're dumb, and their actions should be definitely told and literally attached to them until themselves are rehabilitated, and realize that it's therapy sometimes to be inside your own place and realize that you need to take your own logical brain and just realize that there are instances where you don't know anything. There are instances where you never trained yourself or never trained yourself for a specific situation, and you need to be retrained. But it's not a re-education, okay? It's not invitation to something. It's not a social construct that if you break, then you're punished for it. It's not China. It's if you do something fucked up, you pay for it. And I don't give a shit if anyone watches this. I don't care if anyone's looking at it right now. But if they do, then I'm thankful. Because we need to not revolutionize something. We need to do what we said we were going to do when we held up those fucking signs. When you hold up that sign, you believe in it wholeheartedly. You believe in what you're saying, how you're saying it, because you're saying it. Not because it's cool to believe in, because you heard it on a radio or a place or something like that. It's because you believe in it and you know that saying. And that's the reason why I don't hold up a sign. Because you know what? I didn't care about the statues. They're stupid. Statues are dumb. You look at them and you're like, wow, that guy made a really cool statue. Oh my God, it's about a dude who murdered a bunch of people. So did Andrew Jackson. And all the presidents, besides up to Andrew Jackson, were complete and utter murderers. They used to kill each other for fun because they had a disagreement. They used to murder each other with ball bullets, and those things curve and go through lungs and separate people. Realize that shit. Like, he fucking beat a dude who tried to assassinate him. He beat a dude with a cane. A hard cane. A fucking steel cane. She probably had a sword inside of it for some reason. And also realize the reasons why people just don't respect us sometimes on some planes. Because oh my God, we give a chick a power or something like that. The power. Oh my God, women. Oh my God, vaginas. Are you serious? I used to put that on a pedestal. Why is she telling me what to do? Because you should be told what to do sometimes whenever you're not doing the right thing. And who cares if a vagina or a penis or a person who has a penis or a vagina is telling you what to do? You should listen if it's positive.
You should be like, maybe if it's too much, if it's negative, then maybe it's negative, and still take it into consideration. And also realize that if anyone comes up with another translation of the Bible, I will never take it seriously ever again. Ever. Because of people literally rewriting the Bible and saying, no, this is what he said, this is how he interpreted it. I've been looking at this for a very long time. It's like, no, you found out information that other people have already found out literally 1 million years ago. 1 million. We've been around for about 1 million. I think so. Because we've constantly come up over the same stupid bullshit, and history doesn't repeat itself. We constantly show ourselves things that we've seen before, so we use and exemplify the same behavior. And that's why history or people repeat themselves. History doesn't repeat itself, people do, alright? Just realize that not everything has a metaphorical context. Alright. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, man. Oh. Realize that shit, man. Just realize. I found out so much stuff when I was young. I found out my dad wasn't the coolest dude ever. I found out my mom wasn't the coolest person ever. But they were both working hard, and they both did work hard until they couldn't work anymore. Until they realized that they weren't ready, and some of them, my dad crumbled sometimes, and my mom didn't. My dad didn't realize his mistakes in his marriage, and he didn't realize the mistakes that he made or the things that he was doing that were wrong and he shouldn't have been doing them. Like smoking inside and not getting a job. And my mom realized that eventually she had to just move on because it wasn't practical. And my dad's not a practical guy sometimes. But I also know that if they both would have hunkered down and worked together, then eventually they would have made it together. But I also know that sometimes it's not the person, it's not the hunkering down that needs to happen. It's not the hunkering down that needs to be. It's the people and who choose to be able to be together, and if they can be together, they choose to be together. It's a choice, and it should be a choice everywhere. And if people aren't down with that or about that, if people don't have a choice to wear dresses or anything like that, a choice to not wear dresses and do their attire as for their religion, or they have a choice that they have to have the option to be able to wear whatever the fuck they want, whenever the fuck they want to. Even if all they wear is a nun getup. Even if all they wear is that. That's what I know. And if they're not doing that minimal thing, then they're doing a whole bunch of other bullshit that they shouldn't be doing. It's like the person on the contract, okay? You're a rock star, okay? You're a fucking rock star. And the person says, I want every single blue M&M in this one bowl. Okay, I want every single blue M&M
in this one bowl. Every blue M&M you can find, I want it in this bowl and untouched by any other M&M. And I want other M&Ms in other bowls. Every single color you can find in the bowl, and I want you to separate them according to their color. And if they don't do that correctly, in the timely fashion they're supposed to be doing things, then they won't have your back in other fucking goddamn shit either. And if they find some stupid intern to do it for them, some stupid intern that doesn't do it right, then they'll have stupid fucking people on your contract the entire fucking time, and they're dumb. And if they don't have your back, then they don't have your goddamn back. You are a rock star by an individual being. You are the rock star. If your government is telling you what to think and feel, and telling you that you thinking and feeling that will make you feel better, where are they getting their information from? Are they getting their information from shitty interns? Because if they're getting their information from shitty interns, then they're probably wrong. End of conversation. Have a good day, you know? Realize you are your own one man or woman or gender neutral bomb squad. You can defuse situations that happen, and just realize that if we don't start working together on certain issues, then we'll never be together on anything. Have a good day. My grandfather fought in World War II. That doesn't make him a better person, but it makes him a man who stood up for what he believed in, or how he believed in it, and realized that a tyranny shouldn't have lasted, and shouldn't last today. So realize that, and understand that the fall of tyranny is inevitable, as long as good, peaceful people are around. Have a good day.